Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to one more session of the devprime devprime no coding night, right? So tonight we have like two special guests. It's been like it is a pleasure to have like this two I would say really the people like that I have been like following like for years and years. And tonight we have like visionaries, right? They're making like democratic on how like to create like cloud native microservices. And we have like tonight Ramon Durães and Álvaro Vale. Welcome to
Hello,
this
Rion.
session.
Kia ora, everybody.
Hey all.
Yeah. And tonight they are gonna be presenting I would say a revolutionary democratic platform that's called devprime. And with that, like here in New Zealand, from my experience, like working consulting, I think like that's going to introduce like another way of enabling businesses to quickly deliver solutions, leveraging cloud native uh, investment, right? That's been like there's been like this journey where like with development, and tonight they are going to bring like those details. And if you guys could just introduce yourself and tell us like about like dev prime.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Alvaro. I'm working on DevPrime engineering team, and today we're here to speak about how to create and accelerate the development process for creating cloud-native microservice APIs and applications. And we're a company who, in the last 15 years, we have helping big IT enterprises to accelerate software development and helping them on complex software challenges. On the last 15 years, we're creating a platform called DevPrime, and now it's a product and it's available for everybody. As my friend Marcel said, it's democratic because it's a product and everyone can download all this know-how, all this experience from your team to work and develop steps in the diary routines to develop microservice with quality, robustness, and high maintainability quickly for everybody. It's a platform which will help us on developing microservice. Can I share my screen, Marcel, please?
Yep.
I think should help to explain it better. Okay.
So
Well, what it's all about, DevPrime is it's a platform to accelerate people in the digital strategy journey. Companies make big investments in digital strategy. It aims to face digital challenges, and there's a lot of components in this environment. DevPrimes will help us on this purple highlighted zone inside of here. These are our microservice, our backend applications with business logics. So all the environment will connect to these applications. They will serve intelligence, business intelligence to our company. But there's a lot of technological aspects all around. As you can see, we got some API gateways, we got some applications that consume these APIs like web applications, mobile IoT, third-party software, and so on, intelligence, any kind of different application that consume these APIs. So these APIs will also generate data information to database and also stream informations about events that happen inside this environment. So all the intelligence comes here in this main axis on the highlighted purple zone, in where lies our business logic applications. So DevPrime will help us to accelerate development of microservice which contains embed business and domain logic applications. Each one of these microservices will serve to us business intelligence in a domain specific context. So we're helping people for 15 years with these platforms and these architectures conseils and these architectures advices. But now it's a product and it's available for everyone to download, so you can download this from your house, from your office. Just type devprime.io, download, try it, and give us a feedback. Uh, the steps I'm gonna show you now, it's a simple demo. So the purpose of demo, I brought to us e-commerce scenario with two applications. The first one is an order microservice, and the second one is the payment microservice. You can download that from your house, from your office, from devprime.io, and reproduce the steps I am about to show you now. Can I keep going, Marcel?
Yeah, just carry on, Alvaro. That sounds
Okay,
interesting.
all aboard. Come to me. Okay, first step, we got just a little zoom. Minutes. We got two applications, as I said. The first one is the order microservice, which we receive some web requests on the web adapter. These requests will be processed inside business logic, and as a consequence, they're gonna start the states on the MongoDB. We can show many different kinds of database that are available on the platform. For this demo, I'll be using MongoDB. And after that, there's an event that happened which tells us that there's a new order created. So this event will propagate through our stream technology. In this case, we'll be using RabbitMQ, but there's a lot of other available. And these events, hence, will reach another microservice. This is the payment microservice that will detect it, react to it, make some business processing, and then save in other database. It's important to notice that we got two different databases because every microservice got its own context, not only business context, but also it owns its own data. So it's a different database from that. So we got each one separated database, each one separated context. So let's start our journey by coding the order microservice from here. And we're using devprime, so it's a platform that will accelerate steps on our diary routines. And allow me to introduce you devprime CLI. devprime CLI is a command line interface which helps us on diary routines and accelerate steps that we need to do in every application. For example, now I am about to create a new microservice. And to do that, only thing I need to do is TP new order, because this is the name of my microservice. I want a new microservice. In this step, I can also tell what is my technology. So I'm going to store my states on MongoDB. I can change it and on the way. And I am spreading my events on RabbitMQ. I can also change it on the way. And here I am about to create an application, but not only an application, because when you create an application, there's that will run for many years. Many different people will working on it. So we have a lot of concerns, we have a lot of decisions to take. And each one of these decisions got its consequences. And these consequences impact on how the applications evolve and how we can maintain these applications. So decisions like how many layers I need to use, what is the responsibility of which one of these layers, and how they connect with each other. So there's a lot of decisions that have to be done here. And we usually spend weeks in order to discuss with our engineering teams, but now I'm about to show you that in a couple of seconds. So we got a production-ready microservice. Take a look at that. So we got a production-ready microservice running here. It's order microservice because it's the name I decided to that. And it's lights on MongoDB and RabbitMQ. Here we got our application in this folder. So we can just open up this folder and check it out, what we got. I'm also
Alvaro,
gonna...
just got a question. Like, so in terms of the technologies available, like for states and streaming, what are supported at the moment?
We got a list. There's a list on. I think there's something on website which will help people. But in general, we got many SQL database like MySQL, Postgre, SQL Server. Also NoSQL database like Redis, MongoDB, Elasticsearch, and streaming like RabbitMQ, Google PubSub, or Kafka, Azure. There's lots of different technologies. It's available when you create it. It suggests some options also, and you also can change your stream on the way. Just I can develop my application here by using RabbitMQ, for example. But if I want to change it for Kafka, for example, I only need to change settings, a configuration,
Hmm.
so I can place that on the production with a different stream I'm developing, because the architecture gives me this guarantee, because it's decoupled from the technology itself. But we support many of the main technologies in market available in markets today.
No, no,
I'm
that's really cool. Just to bring up some awareness to the devs, like seeing like this session, because in general, like if you feel that a particular stack is not covered, so there's like documentation for that. And as Alvaro mentioned, there are like a range of technologies that you can just hook and use like with the CLI.
And if you need some special or different, we can contact us, because we also are a consultants company. We're a global company. We've had headquarters in North America and South America, and we also provide consultants for customers which need to customize devices and customize interactions. So we can, if there's no such a special available technology, we can also help to implement that. Just talk to us and let's discuss it together.
Cool, cool. Thanks for clarifying.
Okay. Well, back to the track. I said that we have production-ready microservice. What is exactly that? Okay, I'm gonna show you. I just open my code to show you the architecture, and here I am running my application. And you should say at this point, Alvaro, why are you running an application? Just create a microservice and it's already running. And the answer is yes, because it's a production ready microservice, so it's ready to run. And here I'm running a production ready microservice, and all the architecture provides to us some concerns that we need to take care, like how I separate technology from domain, how I implement each one in separated room. There's a special room for each one of these technologies. Here we got in our architecture one special room called adapters. Each one of these adapters got a unique and exclusive responsibility. So my ending points comes here. If I want to communicate with async streaming, it's that there's a special devprime stream adapter. If we need to save my states on SQL or NoSQL database, we got a state adapter to that. If we need to call APIs, external APIs, do gRPC, GraphQL, we got a service adapter. If we want to connect with identity providers in general, we got a security adapter. Observability shows us what's happening inside our application. So each one of these technologies got unique and exclusive responsibility in a special layer for that. So everything is separated and decoupled, which gives us no leak of responsibility between the layers. But the special core, it's here. This is the domain. Domain itself, it's protected to contamination because it's totally decoupled from technology. So we can evolve our application, our know-how, business intelligence, with no ties linking us to a special technology. So technology can change through the years, and our domain know-how remains preserved. So this is our application. This is the architectural decisions that we need to take. But there is not only that. In addition to this engineering architectural project, we also got a stack. And this stack is running together with our application, like we can see here. It's running along with our application. This is my microservices running, okay? So it's a production-ready microservice. And there's a lot of behaviors, a lot of smart behaviors that is already ready to run. Like this, I can check. We got, for example, our stream adapter telling us that we're using RabbitMQ, our state adapter telling us that we're using MongoDB, and also web adapter, which offers an engine point that we can also click. So I got all this observability by default. I don't need to do no extra effort to have it. All devprime applications got the same predictable behavior because they all are powered by the stacks. In addition, all devprime projects got the same structure. So if you're working on a squad with devprime and for some reasons you need to change to another squad, there is no extra time to get used to because all devprime applications got the same structure. So if you're working on one project with devprime, you can work on with any other. All applications are standardized.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
pretty cool. I was just noticing that, like on the clean architecture. So, like the main goal, like is decoupling, right? So you're decoupling the technology from your domain. In there, like you're just showing that the domain itself is where like your business logic should be, and you have like those adapters. So for like the different implementations that talk to the let's say the technology stacks, right? The different technologies that you are adopting. I think like just
Perfect.
clever how the engine creates that sort of a structure, and it's very specific, and it basically declares like the purpose of it, like just by reading the folders, you know, like what it means, right?
Yeah,
And
you're right, Marcel. It's very fluent.
yeah, and I think like one of the topics in here that we've been discussing, well, gradually it's around those practices, right? Like the clean architecture, right? Like what are the decisions like behind it? Like, and this like with that prime, you have like a really good example of how like that sort of thoughts around it, like the clean architecture, kind
Ex-
of like was engineered in a way that with the CLI you have that like ready and to be used, right? In different like streams of work. I definitely like see a lot of potential for this one, like proof of concepts, and from there as well. From I think like just a matter like of provisioning like those service microservices to different like cloud providers. But yeah, like it just feels like amazing. Yeah.
Exactly, and exactly the point is that what you said about democratize, it's democratic framework because everybody goes to the same page. No matter if you have much experience with that. So okay, if you got experience with that, we're gonna accelerate steps, and if you have not that big experience with that, we can also develop, and you can also have my cloud native microservices running. So I can put all your team together on the same page and accelerate everybody to the next step. In our
That
case, Marcel, the next step is to, okay, we're running our microservice. It's offering us an ending point on our web adapter. Okay. And so I can just check it here. We got a microservice running, so we start from the running applications, and only thing I need to do now is to place some domain logic inside of it. We got a microservice running, it's devprime. We got also an open API, which allows us to place this under the API gateway for your choice, so you can just place these applications ready to place on production. You got all technology details also available. And now it's a production ready, so I can place it under my preferred API gateway. And I only needed to do now is to place some business logic here. So now we're about to write some business code, Marcel. And I can do that by writing line by line, but in order to accelerate step and save some time, I am asking for a marketplace from some with some business rules. It's just to accelerate, just for the purpose of demo. Okay, I am just in this step. I just wrote two files with business logic. So we got an aggregate here. In this step, we are writing business code. Okay, So in this step, we are writing business code. So we create an aggregate. In this aggregate, it's based on devprime stack foundations. For those that are not used to, aggregate roots are concepts from domain-driven design standards. So there's a lot of domain class based on domain-driven design standards. In this case, I'm using an aggregate root. I'm not gonna go deeper in domain-driven design in this conversation, but there's all the classes available in domain-driven design standards in our devprime stack foundation. So you just base your class on some domain-driven design class, and you write your code. We got some business logic here. So all your business intelligence is embedded in this kind of classes. I got an order, which is an aggregate root, and here I got an item with that is an entity. So these classes are based on domain-driven design standards, and they also got some business logics on that. So in this step, we just wrote these classes. You're gonna do that. It's important to notice that you're gonna do that by yourself. So you're gonna come to here and write these files. I just made a step to accelerate that, but now we got some business intelligence. And we also need to make some implementations in order to provide states, state retrieving, state storage. So we need to persist our state. So we need to do some implementations here that follow some industrial patterns, like repositories, for example. In addition, we need to expose our ending point. So we need to do some implementations that follow some patterns on the industry. I can do that by hand, of course, because we got some classes on the devprime. But in this case, I want to introduce you a very special accelerator in devprime CLI that's called devprime init. And it's very useful for you to accelerate common steps. We're talking about here, Marcel, about steps that we do in our daily routines, so it's gonna save time for things that you need to do many times in all applications in order to prevent your architecture to crash, in order to prevent your architecture to leak information. So devprime init, it's analyzing our domain objects, and based on them, devprime init, okay, so it found an aggregate, an entity, so it's analyzing our domain objects, and based on them, it will do some useful implementations that we need to do on daily basis, like some test coverage, web exposure, dependence injection, applications, repositories, and so on. So we can just check all these implementations here by checking our state repository. Take a look at that. We got very common patterns that people need to do on daily basis, like connections, repositories, some DTOs that you need to. This code is available, so people can customize that. And I can also rerun my application while I'm showing that for you.
Yeah,
So
those would be like concerns, developer concerns on how to implement the technology, right? And how to talk to the underlying platform. So you guys have like these pipelines already available, and just to make like smarter. Well, that's a smarter analyzer that identifies your domain and generates the classes for those to talk to the platform.
following the best practice in industry. Yes.
That's really
Do
cool. Yeah.
Yes. So here, and this code is available for people to customize. So you have available this code mappings and steps. So it's only accelerating steps that you need to do that. You need to do in daily basis. So we just skip the step and fast the track. Here I'm exposing some APIs on that. So all these concerns, basic concerns people need to do, so it saves up time, it's improving your time to market. So people can spend more time discussing business and creating microservices itself. So we make some business logic, accelerate steps, and go to the what really matters.
Yeah, that's definitely like a important like feature. And to be honest, like when I look like the teams, especially like small teams here in New Zealand, it feels like for every single, let's say, business feature that needs to be implemented, it takes some time, like for like, okay, let's create work like in layers, like, and you implement the technology, creating those entities, connecting with like different services, and you have like everything baked within the
Yeah.
platform in there. So there's definitely an eye opener, like for New Zealand market. It's definitely something like really important tool that I think companies need to look like in a different way, because look like just by seeing like what generated in there in a matter of minutes, when you look like teams creating that, they're gonna work like in sprints to deliver things like that. So yeah, you just
It's
would like to
important to
mention that.
note that these sprints usually spend 70% of the time, 75% of the time creating technology, creating structure. In every new microservice, people do all the work again and again from the scratch.
Correct.
And here we're reusing that, and
Yeah,
accelerating people and accelerating developers' agenda.
that's really cool.
Well, just it's our microservices running again. I just run it, and let's get back to our ending point and make a refresh. Well, voila, what we got here? We got ending point exposure. Okay, we got our microservice now can communicate to the adapters because of the implementations we did. Just this implementation that I shown you, the, this allows our applications to communicate with the different layers, but in a special way, respecting architecture concerns like separation of responsibilities, dependence injection, and keeping everything in the proper room. So every piece, every component is in the proper room, and they are all divided and decoupled. Here I'm running our application, and it's already have some business logic because I placed some uh, codes on that. So I write some business logic, I accelerate steps, and I also can customize and create new objects. And this is the life cycle in our applications. We just speed up some steps that that steal our time. Now we
Yeah.
got our application running, and I think it's time to make a web request. So I'm Alvaro, and I'm going to make a
So while
order.
you're filling those details, you just got like a question here from uh, Zayori Yan. Sorry, like I think like if I'm not pronounced correctly, but I'm just gonna bring this one. So he's asking like if it's open source.
Actually, it's not open source, but it's available to download for free. So you can just get a developer license and run it from your home. Go to devprime.io, make experience, try it, and give the feedback.
Really cool.
Of course, if you're doing that on an enterprise environment, there's also available license for the. But if you want to just learn the platform, it's available for free for learning, for develop, for tests. So you can just write your code by downloading from devprime.io. Feel free to give the feedback based on your experience. So I made a web request here. I just click on this blue button, and I am receiving a successful answer. So I'm got a successful response. And if I look inside my microservice, check it out. I can track all my process inside my application, and I didn't have to make no extra effort to have it. So looking at the observability, I can check that my request comes from the web adapter on this ending point, cross internal applications and domain layers, save its states on MongoDB, and emits an event on RabbitMQ. So we got an event out here on the stream adapter. So we can track every process inside our application because devprime observability adapter helps us on that. So we don't need to write this for our application. It's available on the stack. Every devprime microservice got this same behavior. They are standardized and predictable behavior. So here, stream out event order created. So let's back to the track. We just wrote our order microservice. We code that together and while we're talking. And this microservice is receiving a web request on web adapter, making some process inside of business logic, and saving states on the database and spread an event on the stream adapter. Okay, we just code this and we can track all this process by looking to the observability adapter. And this event will hence reach another microservice that will detect it and react to it. So it's the payment microservice that will receive this event, that will react to these events. I'm about to change our tabs, okay? We're looking to the order microservice just created together now. And now I'm about to change my tab and we are looking to the payment microservice. So now we are looking to this microservice. I brought that already down in order to accelerate in our conversation. But all these microservices are based on devprime. And it's important to notice that the same behavior we have in one microservice, we have in all of them. So now we are looking to the log on payments microservice, and we can track every step inside of it. So this is our payment microservice, this is our stream adapter, and this is an in event. So if we have an out event on the order microservice, we got an in event here on the stream adapter on payment microservice, which is highlighting this communication here from out to in. So we can just check this log and we have the same behavior, application, domain, and it saves its states on MongoDB. So we can track our process by looking to log. We can read this information from the log. It's available for all microservices using devprime with no extra effort. And all these logs are standardized, which means that in case of root cause analysis, all applications are creating logs on the same way. You can just connect these logs by creating some filters. You can place these logs on, for example, an Elasticsearch and track this information based on log, because these logs are made to help root cause analysis and help to track these applications in production. So there's a human readable and also our indexed log. They're numbers that connect these logs one each other, so you can track your process from the beginning to the end. Everybody aboard? Let's back to the order microservice, and we're facing here a successful story. So we receive web requests to some process, save state, emit event, the payment microservice react to it, and save state. But let's suppose for a moment, Marcel, something that never happened in our daily lives. Let's suppose that we lost communication with an external service. Come to think of it, how many times this happening in our daily lives?
Well, that happens, right? So you don't expect it, but it happens. Yeah.
Well, we don't expect it, but devprime does. So devprime expects it. So applications in devprime are reactive APIs. So they are ready to react some, troubles and circumstances like that. And these reactive APIs need to handle these situations like that. Let's suppose that we lost communication with RabbitMQ, for example. I can create this scenario by stopping my container. So I'm just going to stop my container. And when I stop my container, devprime will react to it. So we can check it out by reading this log. Stream adapter on devprime just retry to connect on the RabbitMQ. And after the retry, it opens a circuit break. What exactly is the circuit break stuff? Okay, circuit breaks, it's a way to tell your application there that external resource is not available at this moment. So no use in retry forever to connect to it. So it's like you're driving an automatic car and you lost your tire for some reason. The car can keep going for some miles, you can just keep running for some time, and the car itself take cares about this problem. So our application is running, but the stream adapter knows that it cannot stand by RabbitMQ, for example, because it's out for some reason. So devprime stream adapter itself tries to retry an open circuit to break. From this moment, devprime stream adapter knows that RabbitMQ is not available. But if I try, what's gonna happen if I try to make a request under this circumstance? I'm gonna make a request and see what's happened. Okay, for my surprise, I got a successful response. I need some time to understand what happened here. But in fact, what we're facing here, people, is that no matter if we have some internal problems, our API keeps running. So you keep selling, people keep making orders to our assistant, to our API. So our order microservice, it's a reactive API. So no matter if we have an internal problem, we cannot talk to RabbitMQ. devprime stream adapter takes that from a resilience strategy. So let's just read our web request again. In this case, we are on a circuit break. So it comes from a web adapter because it's a web request that reaches our application, go into internal layers, save its states on MongoDB, and when it comes to stream adapter, stream out events order created are not delivered because we are on a circuit break. So stream adapter itself got intelligence and smart behaviors to prevent ours from failure. So instead of just raise an exception, say you cannot make your order now because I got internal problem in my infrastructure. No way. That is this is not what it does. So stream adapters knows that we are on a circuit break, so it starts a resilience strategy that writes our events in a fallback. So the stream adapter knows that it's on a circuit break, and when it tries to out an event, a resilience process write this event on a fallback. And as soon as my container gets back to running, I'm just gonna restart my RabbitMQ. It takes a little bit time to container keeps running. But when my container gets back, or in some reason, when our infrastructure and our external service gets back, gets up again, devprime applications gonna detect and react to it. So let's suppose there's a circuit break here that on our log we can configure some alerts to trigger when we got a circuit break. So we can monitoring our application. Oops, it's very quickly, so just keep talking and I go back here. So our so our infrastructure team can monitoring this kind of alerts. So applications tells us that the applications can't connect to RabbitMQ, for example. So your operational team can receive alerts telling, oh, we are in a circuit break in many applications. There's something wrong on RabbitMQ. So your team goes to the RabbitMQ, do what have to do to keep the RabbitMQ running again. And as soon as RabbitMQ goes up again, devprime react to it. And devprime stream adapter turn the circuit break off and read should just change the font size. Okay. So the RabbitMQ gets back, and the stream adapter itself turns the circuit break off and make another resilience call to read this event, and now stream adapter can deliver it. So out event. So the event that would be lost if we don't have this resilience process, now it's being delivered. So our stream adapter delivers out event because it read this event from the fallback that had been wrote on the last step. And now our event out event. So we'll come to the payment microservice and we got our event comes in. So this is the event that would be lost here. It's coming into the payment microservice because devprime has it's a reactive API with resilience behaviors. And as you can see, Marcel, the same retry process happening inside of payments microservice, the same circuit break happening on the same on the payment microservice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Every microservice got the same behavior, So you don't need to get worried. Oh my God, if someone implement that on my microservice, I have it. If someone forgets it, if someone forgot to implement it, I don't have it. No, you have it on all microservices by default. These are built-in smart behaviors available for all microservices.
Yeah.
So
The ability of like recovering from failures. It's something like that. In general, like teams work on that to implement it. Take some time, like to get like to that point, like where we have like circuit breaker in a automatic way of recovering from failure. But like
yeah,
what the platform, what the tool like provides is just like amazing. Having like that sort of recoverability and I would say a resilience, right? Because recovering from failures and resuming like the operations, I think like that's as you mentioned that it's common like for the different microservices. They as soon as you shut down RabbitMQ, like both enable retried, they tried again, and then it activated the circuit breaker. As soon as you put it back on, it resumed the operations, right? And from the order was just pushed to the payment, and the payment received like the message. That's really cool. Yeah, and by looking like the logs as well in terms of observability, right? So you have like the whole stack of the operations that happen, right? And that helps like infrastructure teams, for example, like the teams that are looking at those logs, identifying issues or trying to understand what's happening with the application. Uh, man, that's great. Yeah, yeah, just really
and it
impressed.
can and it's get it can get even better. Okay, I'm gonna as you said, with this observability concerns, I'm gonna enable a couple more of that. Okay, I'm just gonna enable some more observability in our order microservice. Just changing some configs here. It's important to notice that here I'm using the app settings, but in production, we have all these configs available in your container uh, by sending some environment variables that can be stored on a vault, for example. So here I am changing a config in our observability adapter. I'm just gonna make some, open some more configs here, show app name. I'm enabling at this moment, I'm enabling some more features in our observability adapter. Each one of these sections are separated by concern, security, service, state, adapter. All of them got some specific sections inside the configs, and you can just, try it. So here I am enabling some more details in our observability, and I think it's enough. I'm gonna run these two microservices together. Oops. Okay. So let's run them together. Close the payment microservice and run them side by side. On the top, I'm running the order microservice. On the bottom, I'm running the payment microservice. I also turn on some additional and extra configs in order to make some more details available to us. And it's important to notice that we have a process that I can read these logs. As you said, they are structured logs, so made to make easier the inspections of problems and also process running in the production. You can check it out. Oh, which one of these business logic is run in this situation? So we can just read the log and track every step inside of applications. But we're talking about on one microservice by time. So we watch the word microservice and watch the payments microservice, but our process, it's a cross microservice process. So we need also to track this information from the entire path. It's a cross process.
Hmm.
And in order to show that, first of all, allow me to share with you guys some of the diary routine of developing microservice involves actually some this kind of experience. You have more than one application running at the same time. So on the top, we got the order microservice. On the bottom, we got the payment microservice. And as you can see, the application on the top emit events, and application on the bottom reacts to it. And we can just track that, but you see, just scroll a little bit. Just scroll here. Okay. Better to fit. Okay. So we got an out event here on the order microservice, and we got an in event here on the payment microservice. They are offered by Stream Adapter. So these applications are connected by async events. And this process that are running on order microservice and are running on payment microservice are connected. There's a protocol called opentelemetry, and opentelemetry will help us to make the distributed traces across our applications. And devprime offers that by default for every application. Here I'm running Zipkin. It's a tool that is compatible with open telemetry, but there's a lot of available applications like that in the market. So we can just take one of your choice, and the result is that devprime offer a open telemetry uh, track. So there's a distributed tracing available for all devprime microservices, and they connect one each other, as we can see here. Every step inside each one of the internal layers in order microservice in our cross application process can be tracked here in no extra effort is needed, because devprime offer that for all microservices, and all of them can connect to open telemetry tools like that. I'm using Zipkin, using Jaeger. Anyone want that is support this protocol. What devprimes really offer is the protocol itself. So it's available for all devprime microservice. I can track the entire process. So if there's some step that is taking more time than expected, you can just check this, and see, oh, there's a stream or there's a lag on the states adapter and so on. So we can just follow your process from the beginning to the end by checking the observability distributed tracing. So we got every side, internal layer, and all cross application also.
It's
In
really
addition,
it's
oh,
really interesting. Like the open telemetry just become like more like of a standard, and you guys have those exporters and available. We need the dev prime. That's pretty cool.
and with no extra effort, Marcel.
Yeah,
You don't need to get too worried, because every devprime application got the same standard behavior, and it can also track that by let's suppose that we got some internal numbers that helping us. For example, let me take that traceid, for example. All these process are made by numbers, and I'm using here sec. It's some kind of database that helps us to track these informations as well. So I'm exporting that also. You can do that in production by reading from the standard output from the containers, but it's the same behavior. These numbers connect all the process inside our microservice. I'm just taking this one as a trace ID, and I can check inside my applications. In this tool, in this sec tool, I read from the bottom to the top, so I can see my order microservice receiving a web request, go to application domain. There's a process. There's an internal business decisions here, and we save its states on state adapter and emit this event on stream adapter. So there's an out event on the order microservice. In the line above, we got the payment microservice receiving this event and doing some process in the application domain and saving its state. So we can track all the entire path from our requests or events from applications with no extra effort, and everything is it's standardized. Even though if we have let's suppose that we have a failure. Okay, let's check it out. If we have a failure, I can just simulate some failure here. I am not passing an require parameter. So my business logic will analyze this lack of this parameter and gives a business exception. Okay, so in this case, we got an error. Customer name is require. It's a business exception. So there's a number here called tracing. Okay, so I can just I know, okay, customer is required, but we have an exception in our API, and this exception don't the first thing to notice is that there is no external there is no internal details on your API. We don't just lack connection strings, for example,
Correct.
database
Yeah.
connection
Expose
strings. So
important information out to the
no
world.
way.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen here. No way. So it's not gonna expose connection strings or internal informations on API. No way. Instead of, it offers a trace ID that helps us to track this inside, because this information is useful for you just to root cause analysis. Okay, we have a failure inside of the logs. We got all details that our internal team needs to know. Okay, the problem happens on the line 135 in this file at this path, but it's internal information. You don't need to
Mhm.
lag to our API. Instead of it, we got a number that helps us to track this. And so we can just come here, track by this number, and as you can see, we got the enough information available only for your internal team. And everything is connected, and everything is provided by Stack. So you don't need to get worried if, oh my God, if someone implemented that or forgot to implement it. No, every DevPrime application got the same standardized behavior, which helps your team to track these problems when they happen. So everything is detailed here, and just go straight to the problem.
Yeah. That's it's just amazing. Like seeing like the maturity of the platform, right? The tool that provides that like this the intelligence like in
And it's available for
analysis.
everyone. It's available for
Yeah, like
everyone. Just download it. devprime.io. Download it now while we're talking here.
yeah, really cool.
Well, just stop screen. That's it. So it's up to you, Marcel. Ramon.
I've been seeing like Ramon has been like answering questions, and yeah, I reckon like with that session, we can definitely like have like more like coming because the tool is this is just the starts, right? Like you have like other demos like when you're provisioning to AKS or getting like onto more like DevOps, right? Those like challenges when we're deploying like those apps. And I think like what's important is that like the awareness that we're bringing to the user group. Because currently I see, well, we work like small teams, and this tool is definitely going to be an enabler, like to for teams to deliver things much faster.
It's
I
important to
reckon
notice,
like,
Marcel. Sorry,
mhm,
but just it's important to notice that we are talking about application itself here. It don't goes into infrastructure. Your DevOps process that you already have today is the same DevOps process that you use. We're talking only about application. This application offer lots of information, but it don't get into it don't goes to infrastructure. No, it's not about
correct.
infrastructure. It's only application. So the DevOps is an external process. It's like that. When I finish my job here, this application I'm gonna place in your already DevOps pipeline, and the same you have today. Okay, just we're
Mhm.
talking about application itself.
No, that's really cool. I hope like others can see like this video and all, yeah, like with that the conversation just starts, right? Because them are definitely like guys are challenging or enabling other teams like to be to better deliver things in follow like standards, like using like the clean architecture that you guys have defined. And wow, with that like you get like the whole intelligence, the whole like plumbing like at your hands, and you just think about the business domain, right? I think like yeah, I definitely would like other devs to see like this video,
And you
and
can
that's
also
gonna
and
be
you can
recorded
also
in here, and they're gonna check
oh,
them out. this out.
And you can also extend these applications. There's a special place for extends if you want to put some external components. And you can also customize code because all the code that has been made to accelerate is available. So you can just change and customize your code. Of course, there's a stack that helps us some steps that are inside the stack, of course. But all the codes that has been generated from GP init is available for people to customize.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure if we have like any more questions in here. I think it's just a comment, right? Like from Zayori that basically supports containerization. It can be deployed to any environments. Yep.
Yes, it's multi-platform. I run this application on my local machine, but you can place that on the Docker, on the AKS. It's based on
Kubernetes.
wherever. It's run on Linux, it's run on Mac, it runs on Windows. It's multi-platform in every container-based platform: Azure, Google, Oracle, AWS, DigitalOcean, so on.
Awesome. Yeah, I think like with that, we're kind of like on time. Like in general, like we have 1 hour sessions, and you guys have much more. Right? I reckon like definitely we could just arrange like another like a demo, uh, just like to see like how it will work on AKS. Right? I think that would
Yeah.
be like a good one, and I hope like with after people checking this video, they're like
Okay.
excited to see like what comes next.
Okay, all aboard.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. I appreciate like you guys coming here like just at this time. I know like you guys are in a different time zone, but yeah, it's just a pleasure to have like you guys. And I hope like that the user group just sees this and more questions and more debating starts because you guys are definitely making like this democratic. Right? You're not spending like a lot of hours, days just to create something that's already available. So yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Thank you, Ramon.
Very special.
Thank you,
All
Alvaro.
thank you for you, Marcel. Thank you for you to invite us, and we're open to more and more conversations about. It's something that we really appreciate.
Bye
That's
bye.
cool.
Bye
Cheers.
bye.
See you guys. Talk to you
See you.
soon.